starting on Saturday?
We'll see. Billy's obviously taking more reps during practice, so excited to see for him. But moving forward, it's just I'm still going to prepare like I'm the one, and we'll see how he is on come game time.
When you just looked back the Alabama game on film, what did you see from your performance that you liked? What did you see that you need to get better at?
Overall, I think two big negatives, the turnovers. Other than that, I think that for the most part, it was definitely a tough situation to be in after we dug ourselves in a hole. So offensively, there's a lot of plays, especially early on, where maybe we're just one guy away from having a good play, and that drive is just one play away from sustaining a little bit better. So just being more consistent offensively overall, especially early on, something that we keep saying every week. Got to be able to start better, more consistently, and being able to do that this week is going to be a big focus, and just being able to play four full quarters.
With that deep ball to Vinny, are you just trying to give him a chance to go up and get her, or would you have rather have thrown it a little bit further?
Yeah, I was definitely late on it. Was really trying to see, making sure that the DB bit on the double move. When really I should have just trusted Vinny. Put it up a little bit sooner. Definitely put it a little farther, underthrew it a little bit. So, just being able to connect on those big shots, that was another, key to the game for us. But just having the trust that, what we saw was that they were going to get aggressive eventually on the outside and try and jump those stop routes, just because we have taken advantage of those in the first two games. So we knew that they were going to start to be aggressive, on those moves. So just trusting what I'm seeing and being able to put the ball up sooner instead of waiting to see him open. So it just was late.
You talk about aggressive DBs, and Maryland leads the country in INTs right now. They haven't played great competition quite yet, but what are you seeing from the secondary in terms of why they're able to create the turnovers that they've made so far?
Yeah, they're super athletic. They rely on them the secondary making big plays and causing turnovers. So it's going to be up to us to limit that and allow just to pound the rock and really just take advantage of the shots when they present themselves. We think that we'll be able to. It's going to should be a good game. Offensively, we feel like we have a good game plan for them so far from what the coach has put together, and from practice, what we just got done practicing. Feel confident in it. I have a good feeling that we have a solid game plan that's going to be able to allow us to dictate the terms of the game.
Has Billy been able to, if you are the starter Saturday, give you any insight on his former team at all?
Yeah, he Sunday when we all met, the last probably 10 minutes of our quarterback meeting, we just sat down and were asking Billy questions about his former teammates, what they were like, what their pros and cons are, stuff like that. Who's kind of the captain, who's the leaders of the defense, who's the playmakers, all that kind of stuff. So having an insight like that's hard to be. I know a lot of guys, especially on their D-line, are all transfers and they got a new DC, but just people-wise, being able to have that advantage of Billy knowing those guys, it's definitely something that's going to be big for us.
Do you get any sense from him at all that he's chomping at the bit to get a crack at his former team?
Yeah, I mean, he's a competitor. He's probably wanted to play in every game so far this year, but just hasn't been able to. I know that if I was in his shoes, I would really want to play this game. So,
when you're splitting reps at practice, is it harder for you to feel ready to take over as a starter if you're going to be out there? Like, how much does that affect your preparation?
I won't say much. I think that I still probably took the majority of reps today. Just trying to ease him back into it, I think. But just being able to, if he is ready to go, then get him enough reps that he is ready to go. And if he's not, then getting me enough reps that it's another week where I'm the guy, and going into a bye week, we'll see where he is after that.
Does it change your approach at all, knowing, okay, I might not have all the reps this week, so I gotta either squeeze more out of things or look for, or try and just get extra out of whatever you do get?
Yeah, I think just studying the game plan, studying film, knowing these guys like the back of my hand. I feel like I've done a good job at that so far, and I don't think I'm going to change my routine just because I might get a few less reps during the week.
Danny, as a quarterback, there's the big thing between mental reps and physical reps. You guys are always getting mental reps if when you're not on the field. How valuable have been the physical reps really over the last 2 weeks and also in practice? Have you seen yourself really grow from maybe even week 1 to now?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think my chemistry with the wide receivers has grown tremendously. My ability to make protection adjustments, just being able to get those scout reps, seeing where guys are lining up, seeing the tendencies that we see on film, seeing them live. That's definitely a huge thing. So, yeah, mental reps are big, but physical reps are the real thing. So as many of those as you can get, the better you're going to be, I think. But as a quarterback, you have to be able to take those mental reps when you are in the film room, or if you're watching someone else get the rep at practice.
Coach Fickell, he's talked about staying positive. I know you're still a younger guy, but as the quarterback, is there any message that you kind of have from your team about staying positive, being able to move on, which was difficult for this team at times last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just being a quarterback, you're forced into a leadership position. Thankfully, I'm confident in my leadership abilities, and I think the rest of the guys, the rest of the leaders on the offense that have done a tremendous job the last few days of telling their rooms that we got to learn from it, but it's time to move on, and all of our focus has to be on Maryland.
One other thing Coach said yesterday kind of was to be able to open up the run game, get some of those vertical shots kind of down the field. How do you guys maybe open up more opportunities, or if they're there, execute a little bit more? What's kind of maybe not been there as much as that you guys have wanted to see so far?
Just connecting. We're getting the looks we want. We just got to be able to connect and maybe trust in ourselves to make those big plays. I think that there's been a lot of opportunities that we have missed. That deep ball to Vinny was a big one. There's just been a lot of almost, and almost don't win you football games. You got to be able to go connect. So just being able to go in this week and be able to make those big plays happen to open up the run game. That's going to be something that we try and do. So expecting a lot of maybe to open up the playbook a little bit earlier than we have in previous games. But I'm excited to see how the rest of the game plan shakes out, and I have a good feeling of what we are going to see. So I know that the opportunities are going to be there.
Is there a level of excitement going into the Big Ten season that maybe all your opportunities or goals are still attainable, given if you take care of business in the Big Ten, good things can still happen?
Yeah, absolutely. We're 2-1 right now. So there's a lot of teams that are the same way. So just being able to go execute against Big Ten opponents, and like you said, everything that we want is still in front of us, and it's a mountain to climb, and we just got to take it one game at a time.
Coach Grimes being up in the booth, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you had your play call on the field last year. Is it any different in terms of what it's like for you as a starting quarterback, having that guy in the booth versus on the field, and what's that like?
Not really. Most of the time, Coach Lewis had to, when the defense was out there, he still had to go manage the game. So me and him weren't the ones that were talking on the sideline in between offensive drives. It was me and my quarterback coach, same as it is this year. So my quarterback coach was up in the booth, so I would put on a headset and talk to him. Now Coach G is on the sideline with me, so we're just talking to each other. But really, it's the same.
Danny, you had mentioned getting a faster start. Just from your standpoint, what does it take to open games the way that you guys want to?
Just being able to execute in the run game early and to connect on some shots. That's a big thing. So.